most of their officer corps. He's nearly a legend in the submarine community. The most deadly submarine ever built.
This thing could park a couple of hundred warheads off Washington. Nobody'd know a thing about it until it was all over.
And once more, we play our dangerous game with our old adversaries, the American Navy.
His plan is a mystery. A man with no responsibilities reading about the end of the world.
Apparently, he has suffered a kind of nervous breakdown in which he announced his intention to fly his missiles on the United States.
He wants to help you hunt him down, kill him.
Open the outer doors, firing point procedures. We sail into history.
I'm gonna blow him right to Mars.
Ramius might be trying to defect.
You're just an analyst. What can you possibly know what goes on in his mind?
I'll give you 3 days to prove your theory correct. I am not field personnel. I am only an analyst.
You're perfect.
I'm expendable. He's defecting. Willing to bet your life on that? From the best-selling novel by Tom Clancy. From the director of Die Hard. Give this man a chance.
My orders are specific. Better sections.
Sean Connery, Alec Baldwin, James Earl Jones, Scott Glenn, Sam Neill. The Hunt for Red October.
Well, why not start off Saturday morning with a review of The Hunt for Red October? And I will review that right after this wonderful commercial from our favorite person, the very boring and dull George Lazenby.
Here comes Big Fry with exotic Big Fry Turkish delights, full of Big Fry Eastern drops. Big Fry Turkish delights. Big Fries are coming by. Big Fry.
I hope you enjoyed that commercial, and I hope you enjoyed that stupid Bond movie, because that is where they got the idea to bring him on for James Bond. Just those little dinky clips there was enough for them to cast him as Bond. So we can thank these Turkish delights for not being delightful by delivering us one of the worst Bond movies ever. So now getting back to The Hunt for Red October, which came out in the great year of 1990. So, well, it was. So, like I said, this movie came out in 1990, so it had to compete with Goodfellas. Unfortunately, Home Alone came out in this year as well. This did come out before that. So let's see. So we had Goodfellas, Dancing with Wolves. Let's see. Neverending Story Part 2. So Pretty Woman, Ghost, Ghost Dad, just to name. Oh, Look Who's Talking 2, just to name a couple. So this movie did have some heavy hitters there, and it did. And then The Hunt for Red October did actually win an Academy Award for, I believe it was Best Sound Effect Editing. Hey, it's something. So now Alec Baldwin, before he was shooting little gremlins on the sets, this was way before that. So this is even after Beetlejuice. So before he's shooting people, and now he is the host of the New York Philharmonic. So he is doing that now. So I guess they took his guns away and they put him with classical music. I don't know if he's not allowed to. I know he was in a little bit of trouble for shooting up a set member. I'm not sure if she was. I don't know if it was a camera person, but let's just say she got her last shot in. So yes, Alec Baldwin does play Jack Ryan. This is the first movie of the Jack Ryan series in there. So yes, he was Tom Clancy wrote these novels. So The Hunt for Red October was actually a novel. So Jack Ryan is in those books: Patriot Games, Clear and Present Danger. So yeah, so this cast did have, let's see, it had John Krasinski, Ben Affleck was in this. Oh wait, I'm sorry. This is 1990. There are good actors in this movie. I apologize. So we actually have Alec Baldwin, the great Sean Connery is in this playing. He really shouldn't need an introduction. Oh, we did. He was in The Great Goldfinger, which was a 007 movie. He was in Doctor No, From Russia with Love, Diamonds Are Forever, Thunderball,
Oh, that guy. Okay, I got it.
The Rock, Medicine Man, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade,
I've never seen any of these.
Finding Forrester, Just Cause, and I'll leave it at that. He was in a lot, and I do enjoy most of his movies. And then Sam Neill, who he plays Captain Borodin. He was in, of course, Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park. What? No, not boring. He's not John Krasinski. Thank you very much, or Daniel Craig for that matter. And he's not out of shape like Seth Rogen. So Sam Neill was in Jurassic Park and Jurassic Park 3. He was in Wimbledon. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I'm leaving out with Sam Neill, but I think he's a very underrated actor. You've seen him in Jurassic Park.
As who?
Dr. Grant,
Which one's that?
the main character. The one at the beginning when he's digging for dinosaurs.
Not the old guy?
No, that's Attenborough.
Nah, I'm not even.
The guy at the beginning, he's got the raptor claw. He hates computers, so he's like me. No idea. All right. Well, Sam Neill is in this movie, and of course James Earl Jones playing Admiral Greer. And please tell me you know who James Earl Jones is. The voice of Mufasa. I have to start with that. The voice of, better yet, the voice of Darth Vader.
Okay, I don't know who that is, so no. You should start with Mufasa.
All right. Well, Mufasa. He was in The Sandlot. He was also in. I think he was in an episode of Big Bang Theory.
Nope.
He was in The Field of Dreams. We did a review on that. You would have seen him in The Field of Dreams. You would recognize him. He's the guy that Kevin Costner kidnapped. So that is James Earl Jones, and he was also in Patriot Games and Clear and Present Danger as well. Except only difference is Harrison Ford was playing Jack Ryan instead of Alec Baldwin. So this is the first Jack Ryan movie that I will be reviewing. So only two. Don't worry, I'm not doing any of the new junk. Why? Why are you so against the Jack Ryan movies? You've never seen them before. Oh dear. Okay. So anyway, so Scott Glenn is also in this. He plays Bart Mancuso. He is the head of the. He's the captain of the USS Dallas, and they intercepted the Red October. So we all know Scott Glenn. He was in Silence of the Lambs. He was in Courage Under Fire, The Pelican Brief. So that is pretty much Scott Glenn in a nutshell. He plays actually a really good part in this. Courtney B. Vance has a small role. He is Seaman Jones, they call him. He picks up the sound of the Red October. We all know him. He was in that stupid People versus OJ show. He won awards for it. He was also in Dangerous Minds. He was the principal in that movie. Definitely the antagonist in that movie. Oh dear. And then Tim Curry has a small part in this. He is Dr. Petrov. Sorry about that. I don't know why my mind went blank there, but you know Tim Curry. You know Tim Curry. He was in Clue. He was in Home Alone.
Is he the douchebag butler?
Yeah, well, not
Or
the
douchebag.
the
It depends on
concierge.
which one you're talking about. Also about Cliff.
Oh, yes, he was the butler in that.
Wasn't he the owner of the house? And acted like he was the butler?
He could have been. I'd have to watch that movie again. And then there's also Home Alone 2. He was the concierge.
So douchebag.
He was in the movie The Shadow. Actually, I think he was in that movie as well. And then he was in Muppet Treasure Island. He was in the
Never seen that.
and I know you want to.
No,
And
I do not.
he was in the show Earth 2, which only lasted a season. And then he was also the clown in the movie It, the TV movie It.
Oh, the original one.
Yes.
The good one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it for the cast. The story is Sean Connery is Captain, I believe it's pronounced Rasmius, and his wife has passed away, so he has no ties to the Soviet Union anymore. So he does defect, and he is taking this sub that is undetectable. And yes, it's a very dangerous sub. It's carrying nuclear bombs on it, and he's taking it away from the Soviet Union and is heading towards the U.S. And you cannot detect it; it's silent. So let's just say the U.S. is looking to find it. The USS Dallas ends up stumbling on it, but then you also have the Soviets that are trying to sink it as well. So you got the Soviets looking for it, and you got the U.S. trying to figure out what this is. And Jack Ryan tries to convince um, Captain Mancuso that it is that he's defecting. So he tries. He actually Jack Ryan has met Rasmius before, and he pretty much says that he's. I guess he says he's kind of harmless. So that is pretty much the story. That's why they are hunting this. I'm not going to say, of course, what happens at the end. So during this, there is it starts off. It starts off in Russian, and then so there are subtitles at the beginning, and then after that, it just sort of shifts over to English, which some people had issues with. I didn't really care. Um, Apparently, Sean Connery was a little bit hard to work with on this set, which I did find a little bit. Um, I did find that interesting. I guess he didn't want to get rid of his ponytail. That would have been interesting to see him being a commander of a submarine with a ponytail. I think you want to be clean cut when you're on a submarine when you're in tight quarters like that because your ponytail can get caught on something. So that that would just look a little bit out of place. But I think he had the ponytail when he did Medicine Man. So that is my guess there. And this I found funny is Jack Ryan was actually supposed to be played by Kevin Costner. Now, how amusing would that have been if it was Kevin Costner? What would he say? My name is Jack Ryan several times. Let's do some good. The ship has nuclear bombs on it, and he would say, "Oh no!" So Kevin Costner would have been a very amusing cast for this. I think I would have laughed the whole time instead of actually paid attention. So they got Alec Baldwin instead. So yeah, so Kevin Costner was doing Dances with Wolves, so he decided not to do this. So that is pretty much the story in a nutshell. They wanted to make this less complicated for people in the theaters because apparently the novel is very, very good, but apparently it's a very complicated story. So I will get to the first clip, which is actually going to be a still, so it will give you a better idea. This is also taking place in 1984, so this is going on during the Cold War. So I will show the still in just a second. But yes, we do not want to have a Polish Pegasus moment. So this was the still that I was showing. Yes, well, we did have a Polish Pegasus moment because there's no sound. So yes, this is just a still. It just shows the year and it shows that this is going on during the Cold War. So now the next clip I'm going to show is Sean Connery seems to he seems to take the ship over, and he does this in a very quietly manner. Hopefully, nobody really felt any pain. So I will show that clip in just a second. Well, this is Sean Connery taking matters into his own hands, or I should say, Admiral Ramius taking matters into his own hands. He made this look like a choking accident, and then those papers he burned up were orders from the Soviet Union. So yeah, so now he is going rogue. So I don't think this guy was in any ungodly pain, but I'm sure he didn't want to die, but he did. So uh, so now yeah, Red October is now set to go to the coast of the U.S., so it should get there in a few days. I did forget that um, their detection um, technology was also it was down for a little while, and that's how the Dallas did stumble on it. So yes, it was silent for a long time, but once it got to the U.S. coast, it just magically went off. Or did somebody sabotage? So that is something I'm not going to really give away. So I will now show the next clip. We get to meet Jack Ryan along with, oh, yes, we get to see the wonderful actor Jeffrey Jones. This, I don't know how many movies he made after this, but we all know he took the Jared Fogle lifestyle. So I will show that clip in just a second.
Hey, Skip. What, have they got you playing with models now? Damn it! Bill! Tell him to slow down! I'm slowing down. I'm doing it. Calm down. Hurry up. It's not a model. The VSRB. Rescue sub. I know what it is.
Well, here is Jack Ryan. He is part of the CIA, so he is able to get pictures of stuff. So he goes to Jeffrey Jones and he's going to show him pictures of what he found, and he wants to know about the submarines. I wanted to get this part because I think him going to the naval yard and seeing how this rescue sub is being built was actually kind of cool. So I did want to show you that clip, but now I'm going to show you. So I guess it's called a Caterpillar Drive, and it's a very very quiet engine, and it is being described. I believe his name is actually Skip. That is Jeffrey Jones's part in this. He has a small role, but in my opinion, it's actually a very important role. So I will show that clip in just a second.
What are these doors?
You don't miss much, do you? Those are too big to be torpedo tubes. To launch an ICBM horizontally?
Sure. What would you want? They're symmetrical. Right down the long axis of the sub.
How about a towed sonar array?
Huh? Too close to the screws.
This is Caterpillar Drive. Magneto-hydrodynamic propulsion. You follow?
No.
It's like a jet engine for the water. Goes in the front, gets squirted out the back. Only it's got no moving parts, so it's very, very quiet.
Like how quiet?
It's doubtful our sonar can pick it up.
Well, this is Skip here showing on the no, not that Skip, just him showing the pictures of what the Caterpillar Drive is, and obviously there's a lot of look I'm concerned here. So now Jack Ryan is also not a he's CIA, but he's not exactly a field agent. So I think he was talking about. So Skip made a comment about his back hurting. So I'm kind of laughing at this because I can just imagine. So he's got more of a an office position. So I guess he sits a lot. So the only way he could really hurt his back is if he takes a dump too hard. So this is well, it's true. And he is also 40 years old. So I've heard that people have actually had this problem. So so anyway, so moving on back from Alec Baldwin's back problems. Now we're getting back to the actual submarine here. There is obviously there's a lot of concern if this thing is silent, hard to find, and it's deadly. So because if this thing did shoot, it would have you wouldn't even know it even hit you. So this is a very dangerous um, thing to have at sea. So I will now show the next clip here. We do get to see Admiral Greer, played by James Earl Jones, and they are talking about how they just found out that Ramius is going rogue. So I will show that clip in just a second.
Activity in the Pacific suggests this could be just an exercise. It may have.
Suppose it's not an exercise. Suppose this is the beginning of a move against NATO.
That, Mr. Judge. I must emphasize the extreme sensitivity of this information, that it not be known. Before sailing, Captain Ramius sent a letter to Admiral Yuri Fedora, chairman of the Red Fleet Northern Political Directorate.
That's her uncle. What's uncle? Ramius' wife. Fedora is her uncle.
The contents of the
Well, I'm just trying to show here that now there's two people. There's the U.S. and now obviously they're shocked to hear that the Soviet Union wants to find the sub and sink it. So now they know that this guy they think they're dealing with a madman. So this makes them very nervous because the Soviets are now going after him along with the U.S. So they really think they're dealing with somebody that is incredibly dangerous and might actually start a war with the U.S. They don't know what his intentions are. So now you got two countries trying to sink this one submarine. So now it's a good thing that Jeremy Johns or Chris Stuckman isn't reviewing this because they would probably think that we're talking about sandwiches and not ships. So now I will go to the next clip and I will show those wonderful Soviets that are going to kill one of their friends. They're Soviets. They do this daily. So I will show that clip in just a second.
Go to 105 with the reactor.
Captain, what is it? Where are we going?
Going to kill a friend, Yevgeny. Going to kill Ramius.
Well, I do like how sincere and emotional these guys look when they're going to supposedly kill their friend. I didn't think they really showed any emotion. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh wait, this is Hollywood. So now I don't know why you would smoke on a submarine. Doesn't that seem very
Dangerous?
dangerous and disgusting? Once again, though, this is they have a different way of doing things, and obviously in the Soviet Union, they did things a little bit differently. So you don't even know if they even made cigarettes a correct way. And I mean, they never smiled much or showed any emotion. So I still don't think they really have a problem killing a friend. Nobody has friends in the Soviet Union. So now I will show the American ship here. Seaman Jones, that is his name. He seemed to track a sound, and he thinks that he could actually track this sub. So I will show that clip. Sorry, submarine. I don't want it to get mixed up with a Subway sandwich or a sub sandwich. So I will show that clip in just a second.
I heard some singing. I heard something in the background, real faint. And then, after all those subs took off, I caught it again and managed to get it on tape.
I washed it through the computer a few times, and I was able to isolate the sound. When I asked the computer to identify it, what I got was magnet displacement. You see, sir, the SAP's software was originally written to look for seismic events. And I think when it gets confused, it kind of runs home to Mama. I'm not following you, Georgie. Sir, I'm sorry. Listen to it at 10 times speed.
So this is Seaman Jones. This is Courtney B. Vance, and he's talking to Scott Glenn, who is um, Bart Mancuso, and he is saying that he can track it. So, so let's see what happens. I do have the last clip already. So I know what you're thinking. There's not a lot of action in this. Well, I'll get into that with the review. But the last clip I'm going to show does have some action to it. It actually has the Russian sub taking a shot at Sean Connery there. So I will show that clip in just a second. And we're right back to the Soviets acting like Soviets, which is pretty much no emotion, and we're just going to kill whoever we want. They seem pretty excited about it now. It seems like they're just about to eat a Bella Pizza taco. So I will show that clip in just a second.
Tube's got to be killed now!
Another torpedo, Captain. It went active the moment it was launched. It's quiet us and his homie.
Left full rudder. He's off in your bow planes.
Yes, sir. I think he's got us.
Way to go, Dallas!
Well, this is the last clip I'm going to show, and I just wanted to show the audience the torpedoes, and you get a good look at the subs. Um, so I know I showed a lot of dialogue. Unfortunately, that is what this movie has. It has a lot of dialogue more than action. There is nothing wrong with that. This movie was very, very well made. They don't make movies like this anymore, which is why I like showing these movies from, well, before 2007. So we go from Ninja Turtles with having movie poisoning to this, where you have a nice, fresh cooked meal here instead of garbage. So the dialogue in this was very, very strong. The cast in this was very good. I do highly recommend watching this more than once. I might actually say try watching this 4 times. I watched it today and I really enjoyed it again. And this was probably my 8th time watching it, and I enjoyed it even more. And that was with the washing machine and the dryer going on. So I did miss some things as usual. It is one of those movies where you do have to listen to it because, like I said, there's a lot of dialogue. So if you have a loud relative or a barking dog or a meowing cat that wants food every 2 seconds, that's that's why you might want to watch this movie more than one time. Third time may not even be a charm. So yes, this is definitely a movie to check out. It's not talked about a whole lot. So unfortunately, if you enjoy MamaCon or TMNT a little bit too much, you're not going to like this because this is a very smart movie. So this goes down as a military drama, I do believe. So if I had to grade this movie, I would give. Oh, that's right. I forgot. Siskel the Grouch and King of the Toilet Chair. We have to get their little opinions before mine. And I think Ebert is. No, not fully. And I believe Ebert is munching on those Nestle Crunch bars, so he's going to miss a lot of the dialogue.
We're afraid of our fleet. You should be. Personally, I give it one chance in three.
Sean Connery plays the commander of a super-secret Soviet nuclear submarine that both the Russians and the Americans want to capture in the hunt for Red October. It's one of 5 new movies we'll be reviewing this week on Siskel and Ebert. I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune.
And I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times. Our first movie is The Hunt for Red October, and this is a slick, intelligent, well-constructed movie version of the best-selling novel by Tom Clancy. Set in the Cold War year of 1984, it tells the story of a renegade Soviet submarine skipper played by Sean Connery, who devises a scheme to defect to the United States and bring the latest Soviet submarine right along with him. Connery's plot begins when he murders a Communist Party political official who is on board as part of a system of checks and balances.
I want you and the doctor to witness this. I'm removing the political officer's missile key. Carry on. And I'm doing it myself.
Captain, I think we should report this to Red Fleet Command.
I'm afraid it's impossible, Doctor. Our orders are for strict radio silence.
That's all we're going.
His expert, played by Alec Baldwin, is convinced that Connery is trying to defect with the submarine. Here he meets with James Earl Jones, the Navy Admiral, to explain his theory. He justifies his plans to the men he trusts.
You have to make a political statement. Or was it something deeper, Captain? Something that made you unable to simply slip away? Was it ego, Captain?
We each have our reasons, Victor.
Baldwin, the American intelligence man, has himself flown to a rendezvous with an American sub that's near the Red October. When not to attack Red October.
The Russians will stop at nothing to prevent Ramius from defecting. They are desperately intent to destroy that he's crazy because they need our help to sink him before he can safely contact us.
We have a lot of different cast members. A little typecasting helps out a lot. And the performances of Connery, Baldwin, and Glenn provide a strong center to the film. What's also a little surprising is how easy the plot is to follow. If you've read Tom Clancy's book, as I have, you may remember what a complex plot it had. In the movie, everything is clear as crystal, and that helps the suspense a lot. There's one strange contradiction about the movie, though. They've done a great job of reproducing the insides of submarines in this movie. They look absolutely authentic, to me anyway, having never been in a submarine. But the underwater shots of the outsides of the subs are sort of murky and disappointing. I don't know, maybe nuclear submarines just plain look like big bloated gray whales, and there's nothing you can do to make them look any sexier.
Have you been on the outside of a submarine?
Actually, I was at the Museum of Science and Industry, but that was a German U-2 boat from World War II, so I'm not exactly up to date.
I think they probably got both parts right. I think that the insides of the submarine, all that stuff, this is a good how-to movie. I think we learn how people operate on a submarine. At the same time, I think that what's interesting is we also learn how the intelligence community works. Particularly in the United States, there's a great political meeting with all the admirals, the joint chiefs, and the political operative for the president. And it's very well done. And we think we're on the inside, which is the appeal, I understand, of Clancy's books. The other thing that I think is really distinctive about the film is the performance by Alec Baldwin. This is sort of a star-making role. He is not a superhero. He doesn't play it that way. He plays it as a guy who's simply very, very smart and careful and methodical. He isn't boring while doing that, and I thought that was really the strength of the film.
It was good casting, and it was interesting for that particular role that it was a relatively new face. We've seen him before, but a lot of people don't know who he is.
Yes, in other words, if it were a familiar face, for example, if you put Connery in that role, you'd say, well, there's not going to be any problem here, because he'll obviously solve what needs to be solved.
It has this in common with the book. It's a smart thriller. In other words, it congratulates you for being smart enough to be able to figure out all the stuff that's going on, and it's fun on that level.
A lot of extra information. Okay, next film.
Well, Siskel the Grouch seemed pretty happy, and here's a little joke. Roger Ebert would not be allowed to go in a submarine because, let's just say he doesn't have the physique to go into a submarine, and he doesn't. You actually have to be thin to be in those submarines. They are not meant for big people. It is a very small, teeny tiny space. Did you see Sean Connery's barracks? They were not, it was very small, and he was the admiral of that ship. So Yeah, Roger Ebert would maybe get halfway in the little chute there and get stuck, and so he would never be able to see the inside of a submarine. And I was actually surprised that he did give this a review, and I don't buy him reading the novel. I don't think he's that smart. So he may have read the comic book version of this The Hunt for Red October, very very abridged edition, which would be a comic book. So, and if you saw his Valley of the Dolls movies, you would understand what I'm talking about. I am. So, anyways, they did give it a good review, and I unfortunately do have to agree with most of the things that they did say, but they never. But the one thing they did miss was, yes, the main stars in this movie, Scott Glenn, Sean Connery, and Alec Baldwin did a great job. But what about the co-stars? Tim Curry, I thought, did well with the small role he had. He was very good in it. Jeffrey Jones's part was very important and very, very good. Because I have to, because people will understand. And even Courtney B. Vance's part was very good as well. The co-stars were very important, making this a better movie. So there is unfortunately just a lot to get through. Um, so now, if I do have to grade this, I'm going to give this a very strong A minus, and once again a very high recommendation. I don't know if there is a streaming service that this is on. Maybe Paramount might have it, but I honestly just recommend if you have a DVD player and just buying it. I'm sure it's very inexpensive. So, and I know, yeah, no, this guy is not a superhero. He doesn't wear goofy tights or a stupid cape. And yes, there's no lasers.
It is not light outside. Can we hurry this up?
Yes, it's light outside. I understand that, but it's like I said, that if you're into that comic book thing, this may not be the movie for you. But if you're looking for an intelligent movie that's very very good, this is the movie to check out. So subscribe if you want. Please comment, and thank you very much for watching.